Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I'm going to say thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk about something that very interesting word used in one of the comments that was just said to me that I want to talk about it in the sense of why things are, most people struggling today with a simple dog. And the word that he used is, it's going to get in some people's feelings today. And the point of it isn't to shame you, to guilt trip you, to do any of that. It's just to expose what's going on. If we don't really pay closer attention to what's going on, we're not going to get any help, anything, anywhere on these lands that in most cases, folks that are ended up finding me are looking for some assistance in something. And that's something that I know is, say more than the dog, but the dog is a way to be able to easily expose those things that are going on inside of you. It's so weird that it just pokes every little thing that's going on with you. What that thing is doing, but what that animal is doing inside of your home and how it's looking at you, it's a very fascinating creature. It's just one of the most, in my mind today, maybe 1,000 years ago, the horse was that same way that we have today, but the dog is something that is just, it's absolutely amazing. And what I'm going to talk about today is the concept of using the word of baggage, that we as humans today have more baggage today than probably ever in recorded history that we probably even have a notice of since we've been recording. And it's something that I want to talk about in the sense of the baggage and going kind of deep today. Going deep in the sense of how many people we're meeting and how many people we're talking to, how many people we're interacting with. It's at a whole new next level today, especially with social media, that I could talk to somebody, and some of y'all watching me from across the world right now. That's never been available. That's never been an option for just me, a regular person, a regular dude, for someone to just hear what I have to say that lives in Australia right now. That is so foreign. That is so new. That is so new to the point that this is new as almost as YouTube has been around. So what, 2002, 2000? It's so new. It's not even 25 years old. And that newness puts us into this new level of having too many interactions. And some of us have had too many interactions in a sense of say boyfriend and girlfriends. 100, 2, 3, 4, 500 years ago, we would have maybe one or two. And then the second girl or guy that we were together with, we got married to, or we just decided we're not doing this anymore. But today, it's normal that people just go 10, 15, 35, 55, 155, 200, 500, 1,000. They just keep going and going and going. Maybe not say being even physically in contact with them all, but you're trying to see where this goes. You're dating so much more. And every single time that we keep doing that, we keep adding more baggage. More baggage keeps adding to us. And then today it's super deep that some kids, I had both of my parents the entire time growing up, and they're both still married as far as I know. And they're still, I won't say as far as I know, but they're still seem to be doing pretty good together compared to other folks that I see. As far as I know, I never really know, but as far as what I can see and what I've learned and how I've been able to interact and understand them. But I noticed today that's not the normal. Today the normal is a step parent, and the normal isn't even a step parent anymore. It's a step parent and then another step parent and then another step parent and then another and another and another. Some of these kids out here, y'all have had 10 plus, 15, 20, 35 step parents. And they may not have been married where there was an actual legal term, but if they were living in the home with you for even a week, some of these kids out here are going through so many of these interactions that in reality, as far as that sense, they're not even in control of it. Just they're forced upon into it. They say, you're forced to like this person. You're forced to like this guy because I like this guy. You better like this guy. And it's who is this guy? And that's more baggage. Today we have so much baggage, and that baggage is making us to be, in my mind, in my opinion, more and more emotional. And being more emotional is the opposite of what dogs are needing, what all animals in reality are needing, and us as humans are also needing. But going through all of this stuff, we're getting super emotional, all in our feelings, and then we're looking, doing, viewing, being on this planet in such an extremely emotional sense. Not in a thinking it through and trying to figure it out, and you get me. Someone will say, oh, women are emotional, but it's over emotional. It's overly that a single word, a single phrase, a single smell, a single sight, a single sound could just get someone to go to tears. That it's an overabundance of it. There's a thing that we should all have a sense of using different emotions that we have available to us, but it's the overuse of them. And I believe that the overuse of them is coming because we're intermingling and doing too much, that we're getting damaged from all over the place. I mean, even just to the workforce. People used to just grow up get a job and work that job for 80 years and you died. And then you retired, or most cases you didn't retire. You just died on the job and then we moved on. But today you have a new job like every other weekend. We have new this and new that and new this. And today you got 3 or 4 different jobs. It's just so much baggage that's in us. So much baggage that's just forcing us to just be super, super emotional. So emotional. And being super emotional is what is, I believe, disconnecting us from, say, the only word I can use here is reality, the real lands, the animals that are on the land, us as humans that are no longer, I don't want to even say that we are human beings. I don't know what exactly we are exactly. That's just a word that's been used. But we're not even able to be in unity with what's going on around us because of this over emotional sense that we're in. And this over emotional sense is in reality what I'm constantly talking about over and over of there's things that we need to work on. And the over emotional sense of one of the most interesting situations that I see that go on with people. This is one thing that struggles a lot of people right here. I'm going to use it in a different ways of saying it. You can't stand your dad. You can't stand your mom. And there's something about them, just who they are, that is driving you to be who you are today. You've been just shutting it down, running away from it and saying, no, that's not what it is. I don't have any issues with them. They're so fine. They're so perfect. But there's something in there that happened to you when you were probably even 3 years old that you probably don't even remember anymore, that it's there. And there's something about them that you just can't stand. Or you just straight up do know what you can't stand about them. You're like, my dad, I'm talking to so many ladies that just, my dad did this and I hate him. And I'm like, you hate your dad because he did that one thing in life. Now you're just nothing for him for the remainder of your life or his lifetime. That one thing that he did, that he made that mistake. And some people just you have that. This is what I just personally see. That thing that you just haven't gotten through, you start to see it somewhere else. It's easier with the child than the parent, but you start to see it somewhere else. So you start to just live in your life, and then all of a sudden you got this dang dog in your house. This dog starts to do things that say you can't stay, you hate your dad. Your dog starts to do stuff that your dad does. It starts to act like him for some reason. It starts to be him for some reason. It starts to just, you look at the dog and you're just like, why are you looking at me like that? The same way that my dad would look at me. You start to get these weird vibes. I know I'm not the only person because I've spoken to many of people about this. They start to do this, but it's even deeper with the children because it's easier because it's more in your face, I guess I can say. When you have a husband, so let's just do it on the woman's sense. You have a husband and y'all have kids together, and then all of a sudden the husband is gone. And let's say he just did the worst of the worst. He just was cheating on you with everybody, even your mama, like everybody. He was just doing that, running a fool. He was just beating you every single day. He was doing everything. Let's just go to the extreme of it. This guy is just, he used to chain you up, and he used to just leave you in the basement, and he just did the worst. And then finally you got, say, strong enough and you left. You left and you're like, I'm taking the kids, and you take the kids. And you're going to use some simple names because I got a dog named this and it's a cool name to use. And then you got Johnny. You know, Johnny is the husband. You got Johnny gone, Johnny Sr. Now you got Johnny Jr. in the house. Johnny Jr. is in the house. And you start to see things that Johnny Jr. do that you're like, I can't stand this kid because he's just like his dad. He does this like his dad. He does that like his dad. He even looks exactly like his dad. And then you start to portray things onto that little Johnny Jr. that shouldn't be there. And that's the same thing that I see that people do with the exact same way with the dog. You start to see the dog do stuff that you can't stand. You start to project and you start to put onto it. And then you try to change it in the sense of, oh no, that's not who they are, so I'm going to change it to be what I want it to be. And then you start to get into a dilemma. But here's the biggest thing is, we didn't deal with the baggage. And the dogs don't appreciate us coming at them with baggage. If we come at them with a clean slate, the dog's going to look at us and say, oh, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Like, how are you? Without putting and projecting things upon them that shouldn't be there. Projecting things putting stories on them that shouldn't be there. It's a big thing. That I'm guilty of this. That I again, everything I talk about is, most cases, it's about me. But I'll use the words they and them just because it gets a little personal. But put things on the dogs that I'm just like, why are you're doing it like this and you're trying to get back at me type attitude. And it's like, no, the dog is just doing, the dog is just being. I'm putting stuff on it that doesn't need to be there. And the moment that I start to release all of that silliness, that just, it's not real, that's not true, that's fake, that's fantasy, that's baggage in my brain. That's baggage in my body that I'm holding on to that I'm not releasing and letting go. That's baggage that I'm carrying on to. That's not real. The realness is there's nothing going on. Everything is fine. The realness is I want to go back to, say, this might not be the right word, but back to, no, it is the right word, of the innocence of, like, say, being childlike, of just knowing that The world is great. The world is awesome. And I'm taken care of, and I don't need to worry about too much of anything. The innocence of everything is good. It's like that's where the dogs are. And that's where the dogs want us to meet them, in that innocence. I don't need to come at you rough. You don't need to come at me rough. I don't need to come at you and put a story on you and say, hey, you used to be this and you used to do this. So now I have to treat you away because that's how you used to act. That's some of the most emotional times that I get in my life when I watch a movie. I don't know what it is. I watch some of these dog movies, and they're actually the only thing that can kind of get me because it makes sense to me. Seeing this said, because there's one movie that's just phenomenal with this concept, because it's true, because I've done this my own self. With the dog is crazy with the handler. It was like some military dog or something, and the dog was crazy. They're like, put a muzzle on this dog. This dog wants to bite and eat everyone's face off. And it's like, so everyone is handling the dog in that sense of scared of it, and I need to do what I need to do to keep myself safe and to keep this dog and keep everyone else around me safe. And then the dog gets loose. And all of a sudden, this lady, I forget the name of that movie. It was a really good one, though. But some lady, the dog just goes up and she's just petting this dog. And this dog is just looking at her like the world's greatest. She doesn't know the story. She doesn't know anything about this dog. She just sees dog, and she sees a scared dog. And she's like, come here, buddy. Come here. She starts feeding the dog, hanging out with the dog, cuddling with the dog, because that's what they are. The more that we put these stories on them, the more that we're in reality doing a disservice to them. We're not really helping them out in the way that they need to be helped out. We're making it worse and worse and worse. And then the more that we're putting our own stories in our own selves upon the dog. Of the dog is doing this because I'm like this. I'm not good. I'm not, whatever words you want to use there. I'm not whatever. And we're doing these stories, and these stories and these storylines are not needed, and in reality are more than likely what's sabotaging most people. Not only just with the dog, but with your future of pretty much everything. With trying to date, trying to get married, trying to have children, trying to get work, trying to do anything. It's more likely messing you up because we're running into that stance that you're putting a story on that really shouldn't and doesn't, and it's not needed. It's not needed because it's not, the word I want to use here is, someone may not agree with me, but it's just how I've really come to see the world. It's not real. The stories aren't real. The reason that you're so mad at your dad because of what he did this one time, it's not real. It's not real because you only know what you saw. You don't know exactly what was going on. And more than likely, that person will be able to explain what was going on. But our lens, our view is already so shut down, blocked out, that it's like, I don't even want to hear it. I know what it is. I know what's going on. I know what you're about. I know everything. And you don't. You don't know like pretty much anything in reality. But we put these stories on, and then we get so deep into these stories that we will not even accept the truth. We will not accept, even if it isn't the truth, we won't even accept nothing from it. We just completely shut it down and shut it away and say, it just is what it is. That's the part of the most biggest challenge of, that's like when it really gets extremely traumatizing inside of you. That you're not even going to give it a thought, a second chance, an option. You're not even going to consider to forgive and to let go and to be able to move forward. You just want to stay in it. And the more that you stay in it, watch, it just happens to come around you in your life. Everything around you is going to start to manifest all of what you're sitting there trying to shut away and not forgive about. It's just going to show up. So everything that comes to you is just going to be that reflection of what's still not taken care of. That's just the way that I see this, because this is the way that I've been able to really just understand what's going on around me. Is I'm holding on to all these extra emotions that shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there. And I'm putting emotions on dogs that they do not have. They do not have all this, and they say they have a range of emotions where they can be happy, they can be sad, they can be in reality, I think that's all the dogs are. happy and sad. But we put all this extraness into them that we're saying that this is how they are when they're really not. It's what we are, what's going on with us, what we're thinking at, what we're perceiving it to be. We put it on that animal, and then we say that's how the animal is. That's how the animal sees us. That's what's going on with the animal, and not really understanding what's going on, what's happening at all. We're just allowing our baggage to control us, allowing our baggage to, going back to the old video, I think it was yesterday, of the baggage is the anchor that's just pulling you down. You're allowing your baggage to keep pulling you down until you are no longer alive in reality. You're no longer you, because that's the perfect way of saying it. You're no longer alive. You're no longer who you are. You're something else at this moment now. You're not what you want to be. You are what you're keep allowing to keep come into your life. This is something that we all got to do a self-audit with. The type of people that keep coming to us, especially if you're a person of like, I'm trying to date and be in relationships with people and stuff. If you keep getting the same type person, you have to really do a self-audit of what the heck am I doing? that's making the same people keep coming to me. To me, this is the thing. Is what's the best words to use here? Is a negative, abusing manipulator a good thing or a bad thing to come to you in your life? And most people, I believe, are going to say that that's a bad thing. And I'm going to say that that's a good thing. It's a good thing to show you what you need to work on. It's a good thing to show you what it is that you still have to figure out how to be able to overcome. Because once you overcome it, you're not going to accept that person into your life. And if you do accept them in your life, it's going to be on like the outskirts. It's not going to be so personal that you're allowing them to be able to dictate anything about you. It's a good thing when toxic people come to you in your life, because it's letting you know, you got to do something. It's a good thing when someone comes in that just always, you just like, I keep getting these guys that just keep wanting to put their hands on me. It's a good thing that these guys keep coming to you, because they're showing you, you got something that you need to work on. You got something that you can't just keep running away from. You got to go right into it. You can't run from it. And most people today, what do? We run from it because we have like a plethora, is that the word, of abundance of like, well, that guy didn't work. I'm gonna go to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Well, the guys don't work. I'm gonna go to this girl, this girl, this girl. Well, girls don't work. I'm gonna go for couples and couples and couples. You just keep going and going and going and going and going. You don't ever just stop and just say, hey, hold on. Maybe I need to do something here, as opposed to just adding more and more and more baggage. More and more and more baggage, more and more emotions, more and more trauma, more and more of it that you no longer understand or recognize or realize who you are. And now all you are is just this, the only word I can say it is just the sad, lonely, confused individual. And when you're in that stance, you're like, I need something. And unfortunately, this isn't for all case scenario, but I see this a lot. You're in that last case scenario, then you say, okay, well, I'm going to get a cat. And you get the cat and you realize, dang, the cat. Sorry. I hear you, but this is what cats are. They don't really mess with us too much. Some of them are, some are little cuddle buddies, but they're extremely independent little animals. They're just running, doing what they're doing, and they're not really excited when you get home too much, unless you're going to give it food right away. Or they're a cool animal for what they're cool for. So then you're like, man, I really want, and then you get a dog, and now you got this dog, and then now you're seeing the same things in the dog as you're seeing in everything in your life. You can't stand your parents. You see that you can't stand your dog. You can't stand your boyfriends or girlfriends. You can't stand your dog. You can't stand your work and your coworkers, and you can't stand your dog. It's like this. It's just, it comes to you. It just keeps coming to you until you decide to say, you know what? I need to do something to me. I need to let this baggage go. I need to untie myself. I need to walk away. I need to release myself from all this old stuff that most 99.99% of it, it's all fake. It's not even real. It's not real. Once we learn what is real, we would let it go, but we don't even want to know what's real. We want to stay in the feelings. We want to stay in the emotions because it makes you, I guess the best way of saying it, feel alive, to be emotional. If you're not all emotional, you don't have these swings, you don't have these sensations going on in your body. It's like, what? I must be dead at this moment, right? No, that means that you're finally starting to become alive, to be able to see and be clear. But being clear and cleaning your mind of all the thoughts and going on this rampage all the time, a lot of people, you just run into this, I don't know who I am. But that's the point. You don't know who you are because you're living in all this extreme emotional stances, living in all this trauma, living with all this baggage and not just letting it go. And that's what I see is how to be able to fast track your existence with working with things around you, is let the baggage go. See that you have it. Realize the things that the people that you can't stand that you could straight up say, I hate that person. If you hate somebody right now, think really hard about what they are, who they are, and what, Ophi. And think real hard about, see, it's real interesting. She's doing the same thing from the other video I made of telling her not to do something. And today I just say her name and just say, hey, Ophi. And she just looked at me like, oh, hi. It's so different when you come at it with a sense of, that's the best word to use, what I'm talking about right now, emotion. When you come at it with a level of emotion of saying, hey, don't do that, stop doing that. Come at it with a level of irritation. Come at it with a level of that. I just see this with the simple dogs that they want to like almost, it's like purposeful for them to want to fight back at that. So then, okay, well, let me throw this treat instead to get you to do this. And then it makes it seem like it's okay, but then you just don't get out of that. But when you're able to just like let it all go and just like speak and communicate with no emotions behind it. No anger, no excitement even, no nothing, just speaking. And speaking from a place of just being calm is a good word, but speaking from a place of being clear-minded of what you want and what your expectations are. They move so fast. They move so easy and they're just happy to do so. They're not even mad about it, upset about it. They're just like, oh, okay, that's what you wanted. Let me move over here now. And I believe that that's something that is just missing just hugely in what's going on with us today. We have so much baggage. We have all, in reality, like I'm going to say all, but most all folks, we have been in so many different relationships with people. Had so many girlfriends, so many boyfriends, so many wives, so many husbands, so many workplaces, so many parents, so many of everything. We've had so much. Where 100 years ago, you would have one or two of all of that in your entire lifetime. But today, it's like it's normal for I don't know if the young people are still dating like crazy or not, but I know in my age, it was normal for back in what year is that? 2004 to 2010, 15 range. So 2010, I was in the military in 2010. It was normal for an 18-year-old guy to already have 3 kids, already been on his second marriage, maybe not at 18, but 20 for sure, already on his second marriage and have like 50 girlfriends by that time. That was like normal. That was like everyone that I knew in the military. Everyone that had like kids galore were all like not even 22, 23, 24 years old, already have 5-year-old kids going into kindergarten, already have another one on the way, already have unfortunately for some of the guys, a side chick that's pregnant and so got 3 of his kids already. It's like that was just normal. So much. Whereas 100 years ago, that was like I don't even know what word to use, but that was like outcast. You were like oust. You were, I don't even, I know what words to use, but I don't want to use those words because it's not right. But I guess the cleanest word I can use is that was considered being easy and being loose. That wasn't considered being like respectful and honoring yourself. That was like look demonized and look really, real down upon. But today it's cheered on. Hey man, how many girls have you been with? How many guys have you been with? It's like, oh, you've only been with 18. You got to step up your game. We're adding all this baggage and we're playing with it like it's a bunch of games. Ophi. We're playing with it like it's a bunch of games, and it's not games. It's making us more and more traumatized. It's putting us further and further and further down into not knowing who we are. More and more people that we keep bringing into our lives, the more in reality that it's only going to just keep confusing you of who it is that you are. And the more and more that you just really know how to just zone in on what you want and focus on that. And work on, when you realize all this craziness keeps coming to you, work on how do I get this craziness to start to go away? How do I be able to start to bring peace into my life instead of all this chaos that seems to keep coming to me? Focus on that, and you're going to realize everything else in your life is really going to start to get better. Thank you. It's just so unfortunate. When I was really thinking about this, I don't know. I was thinking about this. I don't know why it just popped in my brain in the middle of a shower. I was like, baggage. That is so true. We're putting so much on these animals that it's not real, and we're putting falsehoods on it that it's really inappropriate. It really is really inappropriate. It's making everything worse and worse and worse, as opposed to just seeing the animal for what it is and seeing your own self for who you are. But a lot of people, we don't know who we are, and it's easy to peel back the layers of the dog. Dogs usually they'll have a little front on for a little while. If they're scared, they try to act tough. If they're nervous or anything, they'll try to fake it in a way. But they're really, it's easy to peel that back. But us as humans, we have like so much that we have to peel back to figure out like, where are we? Who are we? What's going on with us? Why am I doing this? You peel a layer back and you're like, I finally got there, and you're like, nope. And then you peel a layer and you're like, nope. And then I say the cool thing is, but the most aggravating thing is, you don't even know how many layers you got to peel back compared to where you are in life right now. You might be peeling, and you just keep going. And then you get to the point that, just quit. And you can't. You got to keep peeling those layers away of what's going on with you. What's been hurting you? What's been destroying you? What's damaging you? Who you still hate right now? Who you mad at right now? Who are you mad at? And just really think about that for a moment. Why am I mad at this person? Why am I still mad at this person? They may have done something crazy to you. They may have. Cool. But are they right now? No. So let's move on. Let's move forward. Because as long as you're still mad at that, it's still going to keep coming with you in your life. Because you're mad at what this girl did to you when you were 15 years old. And now I hate women. I just can't stand them all because of what one girl did to you. You're ruining, in reality, your entire life because of something that somebody did 15 years ago to you that you just don't want to let go. And then you're saying to yourself, they're all like that. That's devastating. That's devastating. And that's what, in reality, is going on with most people right now on these lands. You're so mad at somebody still. You know, they could have done something savage to you. They could have. Sorry, he's barking in a spot that I gotta be aware of when I see that. We good. Like mad at something that you just need to let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. Forgive and move forward and let it go. And you're gonna start to see how things just start to get better and better. I mean, it's a simple thing of a simple start with the dog. The dog's done something that you're just like, oh my goodness. This happens to so many people. You let the dog off leash once and the dog is just running a foo. And you're like, I'm never doing that again. See what that dog just did? You're setting yourself up for failure. Thinking that that's who that dog is forever because it did it one time. And that's what happens to most people. If something happens and you're just like instant, I need lockdown mode on this dog at this moment because I just saw it do that. And that's not right. And our minds automatically, I feel like, think that way because that's how we think with other things. My dad did this to me, so I can't stand him. I'm done with him for the rest of my life. That's not the way to go. That's not the way to live on these lanes. I mean, you can do what you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to pressure you, tell you how you have to live and what you got to make happen. I'm just going to speak in a way of saying, Oreo, you all done now. You're so cute. Oreo. I'm just going to speak in a way of, sorry, they're just sitting here. I'm being picky right now. I don't know why. They're just chewing up a cardboard box that I actually just don't care, but I let them chew on it, whatever. But when I'm making my videos, I just don't want them chewing on stuff, even though this doesn't make noise. But it's just the concept of I don't want y'all chewing on stuff while I'm making videos is the overall theme. Being consistent is the overall theme. And even though it's not loud, I just don't want them to do it in the sense of if it was a bone, if it was something else. I just don't want no chewing while I'm making a video. And that's something that I don't know why for most folks that's like some hard stuff to do. Is just stay at it no matter what. I don't care if you go chew over there, but you're not chewing right here next to me on top of me. And but most cases we can't get through things with these simple dogs because we're sitting here putting a story upon it that it doesn't need to be there. Putting something in play that is absolutely pointless. Getting in your emotions about something that you're doing that doesn't need to be there. Getting deep in your emotions. Oh, but I want him to be able to do that. Why? Because you want to be able to do that? Because somebody didn't give you the access, the availability to be able to do, and then you're letting your dog do that, and then now you're starting to see an extremely pushy butthead of a dog, and then you're wondering why someone else put boundaries on you saying that you can't do that, but you're mad at them for doing that, but you now want to live this lanes of, I don't want to put boundaries on anything else because I didn't like how I felt under those boundaries. And then you start to see something of a chaotic way of life. That's something simple for a lot of people to really think about. You try to do the opposite of what you had, but you don't even know what would happen in the opposite, and some of y'all are living it now. You're living it, and you can't stand it. And that's why some people have put boundaries in place to be able to do what it is they do. And that's something that it's an interesting dilemma that I just see on these lanes. That the baggage, I believe, is making us too emotional. And that emotional sense is making us not see things for what they actually are. We're deep in our feelings, and our feelings are just running us. You see something with a dog and you get in your feelings. Oh my goodness, I would never do that. You see something with a rooster of mine, even all those videos that the guys were making and the girls were making before about me. Oh my goodness, look at that rooster. But yeah, you eat those, you eat them every day. Maybe not every day. You don't eat chicken every day. I do, but you eat it every day. You eat it all the time. But you don't care about that. You care about, oh, my feelings. Look at that. Look at that poor thing. I wouldn't. And then, but you wouldn't, but you do. And you take care into getting it, making it happen in a even way more savage type of way. But we're so deep in our feelings. And I mean, me too, personally, when I was first doing certain things that I was doing, I'm in my feelings. I couldn't eat my food because I was in my feelings. I couldn't eat my first eggs because I was in my feelings of like, oh my goodness, like this isn't right. I would literally go to the grocery store and buy eggs, and my chickens are laying, or my hens at that time were laying eggs. I had an abundance of them, and I just let them stacked up on the counter. I felt weird to eat them. It was weird. I was all in my feelings. I would still go to the grocery store. Like, no joke. I don't know what was wrong with me. I would have my own chickens. I had all my own meat birds. I had my freezer full, and I would still go to the grocery store and pick up organic chickens from the store. I was deep in my feelings, and I had to get out of my feelings to realize what's actually going on here. What's actually happening here? What am I doing here? What's the real over what do I feel? What's real is this is how we eat. Unfortunately, I'm always going to use that word. Unfortunately, I wish that I could do things differently, but it's just not the way it works. I have to do what I have to do personally. Someone else could say I don't need to, but you don't know my DNA. You don't know me. You don't know where I grew up and how I was and all of our lineage. We can't just all of a sudden say my entire ancestral gene line, we're all eating meats to say, hey, now all of a sudden you could stop. You could just eat this and you'll be perfectly fine. No, I got to go back to the jungle and live in the jungle and eat how they ate and eat fruits and veggies for the next couple of 100 generations. And then I'll be able to do that same thing. It just doesn't happen overnight like that. And that's why for me, I could force it by using supplements and all that, but that's not real. Most of the supplements come from animal byproduct anyway. So I'm like, I might as well just eat the animal. Just do what I know I need to do. It's unfortunate. I wish the world was set up differently that I didn't have to do that. But it just is what it is. I wish my dogs just ate grass. How much easier would life be? I wish everything just ate grass. How much easier would things be? And like I wish I could just get a big old round. This would be the best way of living. I get a big old round bale. And this is me. I want it like this. This is the part of I can say I want my feelings. This if I can make it how I want and living in my feelings, I want to get a big round bale and we all eat off of that. My cows, any animals that I'm taking care of, my dogs, everything, my own self. I just go peel off a couple of flakes and just go in the house and just put on a plate and just start eating grass. Yeah, my feelings. Yeah, I would like that, but that's not real. So I have to do things that go against my feelings to actually get what's true. What's true is there's unfortunately suffering involved to keep these dogs to stay alive. There's suffering involved to keep myself to stay alive. There's suffering involved to keep the world to keep going around. There's suffering involved in that. It is what it is. I can get in my feelings about it, but I can't just not do it because everything would just die at the end of the day if I really, really just didn't fight through that and learn how to get past that. That's the thing that when a lot of people to just really understand, just there's baggage. And stop adding more and start to let the baggage go. Unhook yourself from it and start to go into a new place. Let it go. Forgive and move forward. You may not need to forget. There's no reason to forget. You'll still know about it, but forgive. And that's going to allow you to just be able to let it just relax and just be gone. And then you move on into a whole new path. Then you're going to start to see things in a completely different way. And that's the biggest thing is it's the over emotionalizing things. That's just really, I see that in the dogs. We're over emotionalizing them, and that's what's messing them up.